All right, DJs, it's Masters Week. It's your boy Boston Capper with the God of Golf himself, Steve Shermer, and very special guest, Mr. Andy Lack with boots on the ground. Andy, what's going on, buddy?
It's going great, guys. I'm delighted to be here. It's beautiful down here in Augusta, Georgia. I can't wait for you guys to get here. I have a sneaking, unfortunate suspicion that you guys might be getting here on you guys are coming in on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm flying into Atlanta on Thursday, and then I have a little puddle jumper over to Augusta. Gets in about 2, but yeah, I got a feeling based on the weather forecast, might be a little bit of a delay.
Okay, so you're not driving to Augusta. I did that drive from Atlanta to Augusta. You're flying. What about you, Capper?
I'm driving up. It's 4 hours for me.
Yeah,
it would take me longer to go to the airport, sit in security, fly to Atlanta, and then drive from there.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, I had a phenomenal day. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it. There's a bunch of quotes and things that you hear people say about Augusta, and they're true, right? Like adult Disneyland. The way that I just described it to Brian when he asked was there's something special about, and I've only encountered this maybe a few times in my life, and none of the places did it quite like what I experienced today at Augusta. You get a little bit of this at Bandon Dunes. You get a little bit of this in terms of the people that you meet in Ireland. I'm sure people get this at a Taylor Swift concert, but it's so think about how few life events and things that can happen where for every single person there, it's like the best day in their life.
It's true.
You can count them on one hand, right? It's like true. There's like, it's a Taylor Swift concert for some people, it's like a bucket list trip to Scotland or Ireland for golfers. Yeah. And it's the fucking Masters. And I can't think of too many other things where I've been lucky enough to go to the Super Bowl, the NBA finals. So I'm very lucky with the golf tournaments I get to. I've been to now 4 of the last 8 majors.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing like it because you get there and there's and I think the no phones thing, which I'm in on, is very additive to that because there's sort of this communal experience where everybody's having the time of their lives and you guys are all there for the same reason. So it was a very special day. I could go on and on about it. But you guys tell me how you're doing.
So actually, it's funny how you mentioned the no phone thing. I saw a quote from Jordan Spieth. He actually asked about that. Somebody asked him about that, and he said it was nice because everybody's really present, and that's how I felt. A couple years ago going too. It's nice because every time you see anytime like a golfer like hits a ball into the gallery or something like that, everybody just standing around with their phones, just holding in front of their face. And here you just don't see that. It's nice. Everybody's just watching the golf shot. They're seeing the result. They're not caring about getting, whatever they want to put on Instagram. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going in. I'm looking forward to, the Boston Capper seeing the great customer service is definitely there. Everything from the merch tent to even the bathroom experience. Did you experience that today? How efficient they are, just moving everybody in and out. It is it's wild. They have everything down to the science there for sure.
Yeah. And, the merch tent was crazy today. Mm-hmm. It was a long wait, a really long wait, but it was a really efficient operation. And once you get in, it's like zoom, 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 zoom. And I got so much stuff. I bought so much stuff. It's like you wait in line for 2 hours and it's like, okay, I got a second cousin that kind of likes golf. I'm here. It's like you get there and you might, but to be honest, I mean, I think the best way to do it, and I got really lucky today, guys, in the timing of, I get there in the morning, I do the merch thing first. What's wonderful about it is they have a shipping center right there. Mm-hmm. So I bought a crazy amount of stuff. I mean, I bought like a dog bowl for every single one of Natalie's family's 5 dogs. I mean, that's how much master stuff I decided to get. It's like, I got this thing came over me where it was an out of body experience where I just had to get everything. So anyway, you get out of the merch tent and, you hit the practice range first and the putting green. And it was amazing because the first guy I saw on the putting green was Scottie Scheffler. So I just got to watch Scottie Scheffler putt for like an hour, which is fascinating. And then, finally after a while, I sat down and watched Stu Hagestad hit a bunch of wedges. He's styled. That's my guy. It's kind of the Stu Hagestad thing's a bit for me. I think he's a really good player, but
that's the LAC.
The LACC
guy, right?
thing. I know we have a lot of mutual friends. Anyway, so I say to my dad, let's go to the course now. I want to walk the course from start to finish. Yes. And who's ever playing is who's ever playing, but I care more about seeing every hole than I do about seeing certain players. And we get to the first fairway, and walking down the first fairway is Zalatoris, Hovland, and Sahith. And I'm like, these are the guys that I wanted to see anyway. So we walk the entire front nine with Zalatoris, Hovland, and Sahith. And then I get to 10. My dad kind of taps out because it's an insane walk, guys. I mean, like, the TV doesn't do it justice. I know everyone says that, but like, I don't know I didn't realize I've been watching the 6th hole for years. The 6th hole is like one of the most dramatic holes on the property. I didn't realize there's a giant up and down on the 6th hole. But anyway, we have this amazing front nine following Zalatoris, Sahith, and Hovland. And then I get to 10, and guess who's of all people in the entire field teeing off 10, it's Rory fucking McIlroy and Ludwig Aubert. So I have this amazing front nine watching those 3 guys. And then I walk the entire back with Ludwig and Rory. And I think watching Rory almost hole his tee shot on 13 and making like 7 birdies in 9 holes. Some of them were on his 3rd ball. Who's counting? My soul left my body. Like I was watching it with Kobe, and I looked over to him, and it was like seeing the strut in Rory's step and seeing him play this confident. I just want you to remember, if he's 3 over through 4 on Thursday morning, we had this. We will always have this. And those 2.5, 3 hours watching Rory. By the way, I know this doesn't translate into them winning golf tournaments. Rory and Ludwig are playing a different game than everyone. Yeah. And I mean that even after watching the way that Zalatoris and Hovland hit the ball. Rory and Ludwig are playing a different game. And it was spiritual out there watching Rory play Amen Corner. There wasn't a lot of people out there. It was like, we saw the Donald Jr. The Donald Jr. was out there following Bryson.
Of course, Bryson. Of
yeah,
course.
the Donald Jr. was out there following Bryson. So Dan Orlovsky was out there playing golf. That's a great thing or watching golf. That's a great thing about the no phones thing. It's like you just kind of run into who you run into. I had no idea if I was going to see Kobe today. Well, I kind of did, because you go to Rory and that's our bat signal. But it was such a spiritual, special day. And I don't know. Rory looked unbelievable. I don't know if that's going to mean anything, but I will always have this, guys.
You are glowing like a pregnant woman. Like, I mean, it is absurd, like how glowing you are right now. So all right. So Rory and Ludwig tore it up. What's it playing like? Is it? It's not soft yet, right? Because it still hasn't gotten any rain. So they're doing this on the front.
We did get some rain this morning.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not like that firm. It's how it always is. Yeah. It's fine. I didn't think it was like that firm at all. Balls weren't like, no, there wasn't a tremendous, crazy amount of bounce on the golf course. It's a bummer because it's going to be wet all week. Because I maybe Steve can check me on this. I'm pretty sure that you can't run a sub-air system while it's raining. Like, I don't think you can do that. I don't think that would work, right?
No.
So the problem is Wednesday is the worst time to get rain. Because if you got the rain tonight or Monday night or Sunday night, then you could run the sub-air all Wednesday night and it'll be at least drier on Thursday. But if it rains throughout Wednesday night, then you can't even run the sub-air, and you can't run the sub-air when they're playing golf. So So I don't know how they play on Thursday, right? I mean,
yeah, I don't think they're gonna play Thursday.
You don't even think they're gonna in the afternoon? They're gonna try to get at least a couple groups.
No,
up?
so a cold front's gonna then move through on Thursday afternoon, and I think there might be some thunderstorms associated with that as well. So it's gonna be tough. Now the good news though is sub air. I mean, it makes playing surfaces playable. But if you end up getting some sun and wind and low humidity on top of that, like we're going to get Friday, Saturday, that is going to help it a little bit. So they could run it overnight and then have the elements kind of dried out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to see like 2021 Masters, when that first started, where it was just, everything was just rolling and bouncing at that point. But,
I think they'll play through the rain. They played through the rain last year with JT and the cold? And they pushed it a little bit, but it was because of the lightning.
I mean, it's going to rain a lot.
Oh, man. All right.
So
I did say to one guy who's a local that I met, I said, if it's Tuesday afternoon and a weather forecast for Thursday has kind of been the same all week, like, is there any chance that this is like, is this happening? And he said, well, yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be 75 and sunny today, and it was not. It was 68 and overcast all day. It was great golf weather, but it was overcast all day. There was no sun at the course. So I think I would say I would lock in rain. The extent of that rain, I think, could vary. The other thing that you have to consider with the Masters is like, this is CBS's biggest week of the year. So it's a real nightmare scenario for them. It's a real nightmare scenario for them if they can't get it finished on Tuesday. And, one of the things about the Masters, I don't remember, they really don't like going off split tees. I mean, did they ever do that? Or
so they did it in 2019 on Sunday morning for Tiger, because the weather was coming in. They were hell-bent on getting it done.
Yeah.
They also did it in the November Masters because there was not a lot of daylight. So they have done it.
Yeah.
And they are hell-bent on getting it done by Sunday night. I mean, I think last year, the fact that...
Keep in mind, there's a ridiculous elevated event next week.
That's
like,
true.
There's I'm going to it. There's a signature next week that all of these guys are playing in.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about last year, though. So play stopped around, I think, 3 o'clock on Friday. And then they came back on Saturday morning. They finished up the second round. They only got through, I think Brooks and Rahm only got through like 7 holes. And then they stopped playing the rest of the day then. And they still ended up getting it in. Yeah. I think they're going to figure out a way to get it all in by Sunday. They might have to be a little creative, and maybe they do have to go split tees at some point. I mean, I don't know when exactly that would be. That might throw a monkey wrench into stuff, though. So
yeah, as far as like the splits go, like looking at a PM AM advantage, it all gets thrown off if nothing gets going on a Thursday.
I'm not doing any of that this week. I just don't have time for it.
I know. I mean, like if you think about it, I mean, Friday I call it the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse weather on Friday. You get the west winds, 30-mile-per-hour gusts, low humidity, and it's not going to be all that warm. That's the toughest scoring temperature or scoring weather you can get. And, it's going to be pretty cold on Saturday morning too. The ball's not going to fly at all. So, I mean, it depends. Like if we get any sort of play on Thursday where those AM guys have to go play in really crappy weather.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, or maybe just we don't get anything on Thursday. We just play it all straight on Friday, and Saturday afternoon actually looks pretty scoreable. I mean, that's the challenging thing, Andy. I was going to ask you about the weather is, I mean, we basically have kind of 2 Masters side by side right here. We have Thursday, Friday looks like really terrible, tough scoring weather. But over the weekend, though, sun's going to come out. It's going to start warming up. The wind is going to start dying down a little bit. Then it becomes a really scoreable, a little, more receptive, manageable Masters at that point. I guess, when you're coming up with your player pool, I mean, I'm kind of it's vexing me a little bit this week as far as what types of guys I want. It kind of seems like you want guys that are adaptable to both. The guys that can really grind it out on Thursday, Friday, if they do end up playing. And then over the weekend, once things start getting a little easier, they can go out and score a little bit. I know how are you approaching that this week?
Well, I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't think about it that way. That's interesting. I think maybe the fact that it will be how much wind do you think we're going to get on Saturday and Sunday? Pretty low.
Saturday, we're not going to get much. It's still going to come out of the west, but it's only going to be like maybe like 10 to 12 miles per hour. Sunday, it could get up to like 15, 20, but it's coming more from a south direction.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of helps you a little bit.
Right.
So,
right.
But it's really Thursday and Friday. If they play Thursday, Friday, like that's average score 74 and a half territory. But over the weekend, though, it probably is going to dip down basically.
Even par.
72 and a half, 72, 71 maybe.
So then it'll even out. It'll even, every year it's like 73. Mm-hmm. So around there. So I suppose it'll even out. I'll tell you this much. Firm and fast, I think it's in the range of outcomes that Scottie wins by like 8.
Yeah.
Don't take all my fun away, Andy.
Do you guys want to do the? Man. Do you guys want to have the Scottie conversation? I watched a lot of it.
Yeah, let's have it. Yeah. So I am absolutely fucking terrified of Scottie, and
you should be. You should be. It's like I'm telling you guys right now. Like you guys know me. The cool contrarian thing is to be like he's not that good. He's that good. Like he is that good. Okay. Good. I tried to do the cool contrarian thing. Like it's not wise.
But he is boring. He is boring to watch. He has a boring personality. And I feel like
if his wife goes into labor, then he'll withdraw. So that's what you hope for.
Oh, that's right. She's not even there this week. What's he going to do without his sweetheart? He's not going to be able to control himself.
Yeah, he doesn't have that support system. I mean, I think you're grasping for straws with those things, but it's in play. It's in play. He is bunking with his best bud, Sam Burns.
Sammy Burns?
Him
outside,
and
one's the outside? Nothing weird there, I promise.
Yeah, him Burns and Ted Scott will be running their late night Bible studies. I'm sure they'll be fully clothed for those.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not betting Scottie for obvious reasons, but I mean, where are you guys at? I mean, is your betting card full? Like, talk me through it.
Yeah, my betting card's full. I'm not doing the market without Scottie. It just kind of is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
I couldn't really figure out a good way to get Scottie on the card if he ends up winning, say la vie. I'm just.
Are you betting? All right. What's his top 10?
So top 10 is like minus 200.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but guys, like
that's probably a lock, to be completely honest.
Yeah, you think about last year, he finished top 10 and he lost 4 strokes putting. I watched him putt for an hour today, and it was not the type of I'm searching putting. Like you can start to pick up things. I've been to a lot of golf tournaments, and there's like 2 types of putting practice. There is the I am going to put down tees and look at a screen and have my putting coach behind me and work on my stroke because I need to fix my stroke, which is what Morikawa was doing today.
Great.
And then there is the athletic Bob Rotella, Denny McCarthy approach of like, I'm just going to bounce around this green and have some fun. And Scottie was in the latter. And I've seen Scottie. I've seen Scottie do the former, where he's laser focused on his stroke, and the drill where you try and hit the ball between the 2 tees that every pro loves to do. Everyone was doing that. Harris English was doing that. Colin was doing that. Sungjae was doing that. Nope, Scottie was out there laughing and just like playing a putting game with Sam Burns. Like there was not a fucking care in the world. Like he was taking it seriously, but like he was not, but there was no input from his coach on his stroke.
Yeah. So we were on the main show, SGP, earlier today. We're actually giving away the Scottie Scheffler putter.
How do I enter? My putter's broken.
podcast.com/masters. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, so I was in Florida. I actually found the Scottie Scheffler putter. I'm like, all right, why don't I give these a couple putts? And it just feels so stable.
Yeah.
When it comes to even if you hit off the toe or the heel a little bit, it's not really twisting at all. And I mean, that just probably make just a huge difference for him. Like you do, I felt. I mean, listen, I'm not a great putter. I'm not comparing with Scottie Scheffler, but just had that thing in my hands, just rolling in 10-footers. It did feel like a lot more comfortable in the putter I like currently.
There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. I play with like an old Newport Scottie, and my buddy has like the Spider 2, and I like the version before this, and I messed around with it one round we were playing, and it was like I was playing with a different club. So what is this fucking thing?
Right. Well, you think about last year around the Masters time was when the putter really started to go south with him. And he was really just starting to enter those conversations about what's going on with Scottie's putter. He finished 10th last year, losing 4 strokes putting. He's arguably a better ball striker. And I could tell you that I would be shocked if he loses 4 strokes putting. I think I can't tell you he's going to win and gain 4 strokes putting.
Right.
But I think he's raised I think the days of, hey, it's possible that Scottie, like he did at the Memorial, loses 6 strokes putting or something like that. I think those days are done. Like, I think it's definitely in play that Scottie loses 1 or 2 strokes, 3 strokes putting every week. But I think he's significantly raised his floor with this putter. And that's why I think the range of outcomes with Scottie is like
very small.
It's between 10th and winning by like 5 or 6. And there's not as much as I love Rory this week, if Rory wins the Masters, he's not winning by 5 or 6. I know it kind of got aggregated on Twitter, but Brandl's take of like I could see Scottie winning by 8. I don't think it's like a bad take.
Well, the problem is Brandl runs his mouth and says,
I know he's an idiot, but like
that's why I got aggravated.
You guys realize that Scottie won his last Masters by 3 with a 4 putt on the final hole, and he's better.
I know. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, that Masters was over on Friday.
I don't think he's winning by 5. I'm not even betting the without Scottie markets. I'm just saying, like, I would love to come on here and give you the anti-Scottie take, and I just don't have it.
Okay, so then, all right, let me just ask you, like, kind of like not like a hypothetical, but all right, let's say like, everything that you just said about Scottie is just true. Okay. So what would it take for somebody else then to match him on the week? Is it just a ridiculously hot putting week at that point? Or is it just no?
Yeah. I think there are plenty of golfers that can hang with Scottie from tee to green for 4 days. I think if Scottie gains 2 or 3 strokes putting,
that's right.
Like the rate, you're going to have somebody else have a peak tee to green week and have a better putting week too.
You're going to have Denny over the last 9 at Valero for 3 days to keep up if that's going to happen.
Listen, guys, I've said this many times. I don't want to launch into a whole other Rory thing, but Scottie, I watched more of him putt. I watched him hit the ball a little bit too. He's not better at finding the center of the club face than Rory or Ludwig. He's not. It's not special. It's not. It's amazing.
Just repeatable. It's repeatable.
But it's not. There are guys that can do everything that Scottie does. Scottie just does it as a higher rate than them. And what people do not realize about strokes gained is that there's a lot of variance in it. So the way that Scottie stacks strokes gained approach is he plays to the center of the green every single time. And Rory probably hits it closer than Scottie more often, but he also has holes where he loses 2 strokes on approach. And Scottie doesn't have those holes. So you can look at it. I'm sure Steve's done this, but you can go through hole by hole with Scottie Scheffler every week. And it's like, oh, Scottie gained like 0.08. Scottie gained 0.09. Scottie gained 0.09. And you look at it at the end of the week and it's like Scottie leads the field in approach by 5. So right. If Rory played that way, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills and like this is put the clown makeup on. But if Rory just played that way, if my aunt was my uncle, that it's like other guys would be able to do this, but they don't. Unfortunately, Scottie's the only one that plays to the center of the green every time. And guess what? Playing smart golf is going to reward you at Augusta more so than any golf course on the PGA Tour. So that's why, his advantage this week is higher than any other week.
Yeah, and I would say two things, Andy. I'm very proud of you for the aunt and uncle reference. That's definitely an older person reference, so kudos there. Appreciate that. And then, look, you're right. I feel like Rory makes bad decisions constantly, and it's because, I don't know, maybe he has that extra gear. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like Scottie doesn't really have the extra gear. He's just like move along, hit the shot, move along, like, and he doesn't get amped up. He doesn't get low. He doesn't like, oh, I'm gonna go out. And I'm gonna step on the neck, right? And then he puts a little too much in the swing, a little too much juice, hooks it left in the water. And I feel like that happens to Rory a lot. And you know me, I was not a Rory guy. I've come around since he resigned from the board and told Jay to go fuck himself. That made me happy. But yeah, I mean, look, Scottie, like I took this from somebody. I heard somebody say it, and it made perfect sense. I said it on earlier today. Listen, if you're a casual who's new to golf betting and you get excited about 4-1 winners, then fucking ride with Scottie.
Yeah, Natalie bet Scottie. And she's probably gonna win. She actually got CLV. She bet him 7-1 before the Players.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That's a fuck. I might bet Scottie 7-1 right now. I'm so terrified.
Yeah, I'd bet Scottie 7-1 right now too. It's a good bet. So yeah, I would say the same thing to the casuals too. But we got to get to like Rahm, Brooks, Wyndham, Xander, because I want to talk to you guys about all those guys.
All right. So obviously, anybody who's listening to this, Andy's a huge Rory guy. He's already got money on Rory. It's definitely an emotional bet, but now I have to watch him bag at 29 on the back nine. He's glowing like a woman in her third trimester, waiting for his firstborn. So, all right. So let's talk about Brooks. Let's just go to Brooks, right? Because if we think about people who can battle Rory, who have the I'm a killer mentality, major. I mean, he's going for number fucking 6. He's going for number 6.
Yeah.
What do we think about Brooks? Do we factor in anything about Live Miami?
Yeah, I want Steve to go first. I've talked a lot
about Brooks because I'm a Brooks guy. So
did you bet him this week?
I ended up swallowing my pride in betting him, despite what happened in Doral and having
20-1,
22-1.
It's a great number. Are you concerned about the fact that it's not moving? Like they're almost asking you to bet Brooks. Like Brooks is taking action and it's just sticking around at 20, whereas Xander is like, oh, all you guys that have been telling me Xander's a loser for years, you guys are just all going to decide that Xander's going to win the Masters this year at 14-1. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, on the public books, it hasn't moved a little bit. On some of the sharper books, I saw a little bit of action on Brooks earlier in the week. It kind of started dipping a little bit now, but earlier in the week, it seemed like he got bet down a little bit. No, I'm befuddled what happened in Miami. I watched most of Friday with Brooks. He looked good. He screwed up the first hole, but then he went bogey free with 4 birdies the rest of the way on a tough golf course. So I'm not really sure what ended up happening with Brooks the rest of the tournament. Maybe just end up checking out, but I am just going to stick to my guns. And because I've been saying this take for 6 months or so, I think the green jacket is the only thing that matters to Brooks at this point. Going forward, and the window is closing with Brooks, and there's a sense of urgency. I am definitely a little more hesitant. I wish I saw a little better form out of him in Miami, but you know what? It's not. There's been some majors where he has missed the cut before, and top 5ing second, like Kiowa, he missed the cut by a mile. He ended up dipping to like 45-1 for that one, and he ended up, final group. With Phil, but I mean, I'm trying to think about, either guys with their performance, lately, what they're doing on the golf course and just who they are and if they can keep up with Scottie, and Brooks probably could be one of those guys. I obviously have red flags concerns, but another reason why I went with Brooks too is like, I just ran out of ideas at the top of the board and just in general, like I kept going back and forth between a bunch of guys and it's like, man, like, am I really going to bet like Shane Lowry 50-1? Am I really going to bet like Tony Finau 40-1? Like
I love Finau this year.
I like Finau. I don't think he can win, but like he's on my betting card and like as a positional, but like Do I think Tony Finau really is going to take down
He's
Scottie?
he's got the new driver shaft.
I know he's driving it great, but like at the end of the day, is Finau really taking down Scottie?
Well,
Scheffler?
he missed a 2-foot putt on 16 to go into a playoff with Scottie in Houston.
Oh,
So
I forgot about
I mean,
that.
he can. That cost me a lot of money. He can do it, but point
That's
taken.
true.
Okay, I'm not playing Brooks. I think Rahm is like a way better play than Brooks.
So here's listen. I would love to be on Rahm because nobody's fucking talking about him. But
come on, I've been talking about
you know what I
Rahm.
mean?
Yeah.
Other than people here, all right.
Yeah.
But as far as like the industry as a whole, no one's talking about him. As far at least as outright bets, right? And it's because no one's ever defended the green jacket.
Well,
other than what Nicklaus, right?
Tiger, Faldo, Nicklaus. Tiger 2001, 2002. Faldo 89, 90. Nicklaus 65, 66. I'm pretty good with Masters history. Me and Steve did a Masters history show one time.
So I don't. Other than that, like I can't think of a reason not to bet Rahm. Like Rahm is like it's like everybody's just forgotten how good he was last year just because he went to fucking live. And I don't know. He seems like the type to have a huge chip on his shoulder. I wish the number was a little deeper, but I don't know, man. It's tough. As far as this is a DFS show, but DFS, I feel like Rahm is like a fucking like lock in play.
Sorry, I'm having Brian make a bet for me, which we'll get to soon. They're good. That's a really good question in the chat, Michael, which I'm sure we can get to because I spent some time on too. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I think it's somewhat of a generational opportunity where you have, in my opinion, the best player in the world, one of the two best players in the world, go to a tour that not many people care about or are paying attention to, including me for 99% of the year. And what I do is I don't care about anything that happens on Live all year. And then a week before the majors, I lock myself in a hotel room in Atlanta and try and manually calculate these strokes gained numbers, like some total freaking psychopath, because I remember what happened to me with Brooks at Oak Hill. And
we were there for it.
We were there for it. And Rahm is like at worst, and I saw it with my own eyeballs today too, like at worst, the third or fourth best driver of the ball in the world still. Come on, guys. And this golf course is his playground. He has such good hands. He has such good touch around the green. He's the only, I feel like he's finishing between third and eighth every week on Live in his sleep. He just like, I feel like he's pissed off there and like angry, and he's still just like angrily finishing. He's like angrily finishing third, like pissed off about it. And like, and like he'll make dumb mistake. He hit Doral in the water a couple of times and he's still like third. And why are we giving this guy bulletin board material? Like, I just don't understand it. The guy, Rahm listens to pods. He watches. He knows what. It's not like I think Brooks lies about how much he takes in. But if there's Rahm's open,
he's not like DJ who listens to nothing.
Yeah, Rahm said in an interview, he's like, "Oh, I am very aware of what's happening with Scottie Scheffler." And Rahm is the best player, was the best player in the world. Wins the Masters, wins 4 times. He goes to this tour and all he does is finish top 8 every week, and he's not even in the conversation for best player in the world. Like, doesn't that it kind of has to be a little bit like, how often do we get the at worst second best player in the world with a massive freaking chip on their shoulder? Right? Yeah. Steve's looking at me like there's a counter argument.
No, I don't really have a counter. I was actually thinking we should probably compare notes on our, strokes gained Live stats.
He's got a whole fucking spreadsheet. You guys can definitely
send it to me. Yeah. By the way, just real quick, the counter argument is, Capper, like he presses too hard and it goes horribly wrong.
Of course.
maybe.
Right. Well, but I feel like
even that sounds
narrative's
flimsy. Yeah.
I was about to say, I feel like that narrative is kind of old, right? Oh, he's got a temper, he can't win, and then he won fucking 4 times in a year and should have won Player of the Year.
Yeah.
No,
because Cantlay took that win away from him because of fucking COVID. Think about that. He would have won that week too.
Yeah. So why aren't we betting him, Steve?
Because
I single with him last year.
I don't think he's going back to back. And looking at the positional prices, I just don't really dig it.
Let me ask you guys.
I am going somewhere else with it, basically.
Let me ask you guys just a total in vacuum question.
Yeah.
What surprises you more on Sunday afternoon? You're watching the Masters on Sunday afternoon, and the green jacket ceremony is happening. What are you thinking? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Rahm goes back to back. Rory completes the Grand Slam this week, or one of Wyndham, Clark, or Ludwig break the debutante trend. What's the 1-2 that's like, wow, I can't believe that happened?
Wyndham or Ludwig.
Yeah.
That would blow my fucking mind.
I would probably say Wyndham or Ludwig.
Yeah, it's probably the right answer. What about if it's just between Rahm and Rory? What surprises you more?
Rory
surprises you more.
I would say Rahm going back to back.
Interesting.
I think there just is a lot of stuff going on during the week that just ends up becoming an intangible towards, preventing you from ending up winning. Even as great of a player as Rahm is, and, looking at the stats with Liv, he's doing pretty much everything well. I would say the weak spot has been a little bit of putting a little bit this year, but ball striking, he has been as the same exact player as we remember him last year. And that fits perfectly with Augusta. It just comes down to, I don't think he's going to repeat. It boils down to that. And his odds are like 12-1, 13-1.
Same as Xander.
Can we have that conversation?
Can we
have that conversation? Because I just want you guys to know, like, Nagels and I are friends now. I don't know how that's come full circle.
I'm glad you guys kissed and made up.
Yeah, but
he texted me this morning. How the fuck did you go to the Masters?
I texted him the other day and I said, "Is this your living fucking hell?" Like, I am perusing through Twitter, not even just on Twitter, like on the grounds, there's buzz about Xander. People that aren't in the gambling space are like, it's Xander's time, like more legacy media that are like, it's Xander's time. People in the gambling space have decided it's Xander's time. I get it from a statistical standpoint. Do not get me wrong. And I wish I pounced on a 20-1 because I would have felt so great about a Rory Xander card. And now it's Rory and a bunch of weirdos. But but don't you think the Xander thing is a little weird? Because I'm telling you, I have, as a Xander defender, I hear a lot of this guy's a freaking loser.
Okay.
And so what's going on here?
So I need to disclose this. I did get the 20-1 on Xander earlier in the week because I was under the impression that, and listen, like based on some things I see in Discord and just in general, like trying to have a little bit of a finger on the pulse here, that Xander's a loser. Xander can't close. You should only bet Xander positionals. Yeah. And I just look at what he's done this year. It's like, okay, Riviera did not go great for him.
No, but I was there for that. Yeah.
Players, 2 bogeys down the stretch and missing a bunny on 17. But, maybe they just go with a chip on his shoulder. I was digging the angle. Everyone thinks he can't win. And then, after the tournament, kind of armchair quarterbacking everything, he ends up when he's like, oh, well, that makes sense. He was playing great all year. He's looks great in the stat model. He's great at Augusta. It's a 7th Masters. That's when, you start to really peak there in general. But I have a very sinking feeling that I may have signed up for a little bit of a donkey this week based on, it seems like everybody had that take that everybody thinks Xander can't win, but he can, which is he hasn't won in 2 years. And the number kept dropping and dropping and dropping.
Well, what scares you? I mean, in some ways, the number dropping is a good thing, right? Like some of that's respected money. So what scares you more? The fact that you bet Brooks at 20-1 and everybody's betting, a lot of people are betting Brooks at 20-1 and books are basically asking you to bet Brooks at 20-1, or, Xander's crashing, like a building. Like what do you feel better or worse about?
So actually I have a different answer on what scares me more. is the weather on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust Xander in really windy
We
conditions
talked about this. The
on
Scottish.
Friday. I know, but there's been other prominent examples where he absolutely melts too in really adverse windy conditions as well. So I go back and forth on him with it. And I liked Xander a lot more when it seemed like a couple weeks ago that we were going to get a pristine Masters, a really good weather Masters, where he can kind of just go out and do his thing, make a lot of birdies, pick his spots, be aggressive when he can. But I don't know. I worry that he's going to get off to like that 75, 76 start on Friday if they start the round one, and then he's just is too far back at that point to make a charge.
I don't know. I feel like I know he hasn't won in 2 years. And listen, I was always the never Xander club because he hadn't won in forever, and he was always priced like under 20 to 1. It just made me irritated that he was constantly priced that way because people bet on him. Because in reality, the books care about their handle and they care about where they're exposed at, where they're not exposed at, and that's why they move the numbers, right? And so certain books like Circa, sharp book, that's a book you pay attention to, right? Like where are those numbers moving? But everything that Xander's doing is
what is he on Circa,
good.
by the way? Like 13 to 1, right?
Yes, 13. I wish I got the 20. If I had the 20, I'd be stoked. Steve gassed me up on Xander on fucking Sunday. I was distraught that I was like, I'm going to fucking bet Xander as soon as the odds open up on Monday. But the Seminole tribe in Florida are goddamn criminals, and they don't release that shit until like noon. And then they stick, how many guys did I tell you, Steve, under 30 to 1? 12?
I think it was 15, actually.
Yeah.
15 guys under 30 to 1.
Well, if you guys are thinking about betting Rory at Circa, Kobe is on a flight to Vegas tomorrow morning to bet 50 grand on Rory. So
all right. You have a hard out at 10. So I want to talk about a couple other guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some guys that are struggling. Who would surprise you? I guess of these three, Morikawa, Cantlay, and Hovland, who's going to play the best this week of those three?
before today, I would have told you Hovland. I'm out. I watched 9 holes of him, and listen, he's still really good. Like he's still really good. I didn't like the energy. It felt like Zalatoris and Sahith were playing golf, and Hovland was practicing. It felt like Hovland was working on things and playing golf swing, and Zalatoris and Sahith were out there playing golf.
Yeah,
so
Steve sent me a text. Go ahead, tell him.
Hovland was asked about his short game, which has been disastrous this year. And they asked him, hey, like, have you been working on it? He's like, you know what? I haven't really been working on it a whole lot. I'm working on the long game. I'm like, oh, so that's why it's gone back to this. And I really don't like the fact that you have a terrible short game and you're not really working at it at Augusta freaking National.
Yeah.
So it's wild that, like, think about the type of golfer he was and what he was doing at August and September, and the number you could get on Hovland in December, like, 15 to 1 or so to win Masters. And I'm staring at 45 to 1, 40
I mean,
to 1.
that's
crazy.
That's not a bad number. He doesn't look confident right now.
No.
Like, I watched 9 holes of that group. I watched him hit a lot of chips. Like, he's not out there like chunking chips. He hit some fine chips. He just doesn't look like a guy that's about to win a golf tournament. He looks like a guy that's like a couple weeks away from winning a golf tournament.
So you mentioned Will Z a couple times. So I'm out on Will Z.
I bet him
20
minutes ago.
What do you think? What?
I bet him on the show with you guys because I got off the course with Brian, and that is a guy that looks like he's ready to win a golf tournament. Here's what I saw with Willie Z. First of all, on the first fairway, I apologize if there's any psychos listening to me on Tap and Birdie and me now back to back because I said this to Brian. But
I'm sure there are, Andy. I'm sure there are.
But you're a real one. But on the first hole, I'm walking in front of Zalatoris' fiance, who's walking with Sahith's fiance. They both seem lovely. Sahith, by the way, Rahm, Finau, and Sahith are staying in a house together this week.
Oh my God.
What?
Strange.
Yeah.
Well, no, a bunch of kids. Well, Sahith doesn't have kids.
No. And I don't think Finau's kids all came. Anyway, point being, tell the story quick. Zalatoris walks over to the crowd, picks out his fiance, and goes up to her, gives her a little piece of paper in front of everybody. There's a huge crowd there, and says, "Hey, you're cute. Can I have your number?" And it's like the corniest, dweebiest thing that you could possibly do, and yet it fucking worked. Like, it was so endearing. The crowd went nuts. Like, everyone's cheering and crying. He did it in the most like dweebish, unassuming way that was like, yeah, very corny, but like there was something really cute and endearing about it. And all day it was just bouncing his step, just like playing golf. He was telling Sahith strategy tips. He was giving Hovland strategy tips. And I just think that like they're these major guys, and Zalatoris has told us before, like, these are my fucking weeks. This is all I care about. So he's 45-1. That's maybe the best bet on the board.
All right. So let me ask you this. So we've talked about this before as far as Masters, right? We've been talking years about this. You don't find your game in Augusta. You just don't. And he played well a month ago at API. And since then, he has not played well.
Yeah, yes? But he played well in the practice round that I watched today. So.
I mean, he's been hitting it fine. The problem was he wasn't putting it all that great in the Poetry Trivialis, which he doesn't really putt very well on that surface anyway.
He loves these screens. He loves these screens. He was having fun out there. Like, he was rolling. Like, basically, it's cool how this practice rounds work. You basically hit your tee shot, hit to the green, and then your group gets like 10 minutes around the green to just fuck around. And like, it's really cool. The caddies like just move around. They put different pins, and you chip different shots.
I'm just gonna, because we're running short on time. He wasn't just bad with putting. And the player, he was almost lost 3 strokes around the green, 2 strokes off the tee, almost 2.5 tee to green. At the API, he still played well, but he still lost almost a stroke around the green. At the Houston Open, he did lose 7 strokes putting, which is almost impossible to do. So it's not just the putter. And I don't know if it's just him coming back from injury or what. I don't know. Like, I don't see somebody who is not in good form. I mean, we've seen it every week in big spots. Like, if you're not in good form, you're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, that is like of recent Masters winners, the around the green stuff is a pretty strong trend. And he is, based on what he's doing this year, is below the threshold on that.
Fair take. I think 45-1's a good number.
Fair price. Yeah, more than fair. Yeah. I mean, look at the bums around him. I'd probably rather bet Will than them.
When Will finished second at Riviera or whatever, people were putting 25-1 Masters features on him. So
I know, man. Listen, I get it. But so I am, maybe I'm an outlier. I always take recent form. To me is the most important to me in golf. Like, and then depending on the course you're at, course history, course fit, blah, blah, blah. But if you're playing bad golf, unless you're Hideki or somebody like that, you can't come in shitty form and just fucking randomly win. Like, you have to at least show something in the last 2 tournaments you played.
All right. So speaking of a guy playing bad golf and, a bunch of chaos happening off the course. Well, technically it's on the course. So last week I was on the show with you and you liked JT as a good 8K range DraftKings pick. After that, he ended up parting ways with Bones McKay. Have you changed your opinion at all about the state of JT's game, or are you still high on him for the Masters?
Yeah, no. I'm really high on Finau and Cameron Young. I don't think the JT thing
let's talk about Cam Young after JT. Let's talk about Cam Young.
Well, I have a good question to ask you guys. I will say this, like, I think people painting the caddy change as a negative, I don't think that's a reason to not play JT this week. I think there's a lot of like recent form reasons to not play JT this week. But like, guys, you guys are football bettors. Like, the interim head coach is a good thing. Okay. JT and Bones wasn't working. JT and Bones was not working. Like, that was a bad partnership. And we see this every single time in the NFL when your Matt Rules and get fired and your Josh McDaniels get fired and your Antonio Pierce comes in for game 1, the team covers the spread. So I think JT's going to play fine this week.
There's got to be a way to dig into that and see like if the caddy change gives a bump on the immediate tournament after.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably circumstantial though.
It's a December product. project. Yeah.
It probably is. Yeah, I considered JT because there is things he's fitting as far as like trends coming into Augusta that does
ninth Masters, right?
Ninth Masters, the tee to green stuff at Valspar. I mean, Saturday was a disaster, but you can at least hang your hat on his one back lead heading into Friday. The iron play has been really good with him.
He's lost strokes off the tee the last 2 weeks, if my memory serves.
He has. I mean, he's still hitting a pretty far ways, out there, and Augusta, it can be a little forgiving. You just can't miss big at Augusta. But yeah, I just don't think it's his time, and I don't really want to go down, even having a positional on JT. Yeah, I didn't think the price was good enough based on what I was getting for him.
And I personally hold him responsible for Keegan Bradley not being on the Ryder Cup team, and Zach Johnson trying to be the Steve Buscemi meme in real life, hanging out with Ricky Fowler and JT. So I will never forgive JT for representing the U.S. and looking like an asshole.
So who does Capper think's going to win the Masters? Because I know Steve bet Xander and Brooks at 20. Maybe you have one more long shot, but like Capper, who's winning the Masters?
The only things I bet so far are Brooks.
Oh, you're on Brooks too this week?
Listen, man, I got a 20. What do you want from me?
I could get a 20 right now.
You can.
I know, but I didn't think I'd be able to get a 20 when I bet it.
Okay. Okay. Look, I'm not going to Brooks at a major. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm done saying it's a bad bet. I respect
Neiman. I get Neiman, but that's a future like 60.
Okay. Good bet. Good bet.
Yeah, fine. Whatever. He's not winning. And then listen, I mean, that's literally all I have right now because I am so terrified of Scottie. I was going to bet Xander, he got steamed down to 13. And now I'm just in, I have a shit ton of weird bets, like nationality bets, top 20s, top 10s. As far as the outright, I can't put my finger on it. The number's not going anywhere now. So I'm not a rush.
Yeah.
Well,
I
just don't know what to do. Like, I'm scared of Scottie. I'm scared of, I kind of want to bet Rahm. But Rory also scares me. I just get put in a mental box, like pretzel. I feel like every Masters, I get so excited about it, and then I just get like crippled by too much information.
I think most years it's because it seems like there's just an abundance of really good options in the outright market, and this year, like, it was like pulling teeth trying to like get around on certain guys for me, and I don't know. I mean, it's probably why I end up just settling on Brooks, even though I'm not really all that high on it. I couldn't really come up with really anything else. Like everybody else, I kind of looked at, I'm like, all right, I'd rather have him positional than like actually betting him outright. Cause I don't think he can actually go toe to toe with Scottie. Like it was that over and over and over this week with me.
And it's not even just Scottie. Like I look at these guys, they can't go toe to toe with Scottie or Rahm or Rory.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, can you responsibly, Capper? Can you responsibly bet Rahm and Brooks together?
And then just
that's kind of short. That's kind of short, I guess.
It's a little short, but fuck it, it's the Masters. The CLV police can come at me if they want.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna spend enough at the merchandise store anyways. That's not really gonna matter at this point. So
yeah.
I am not going to spend a lot at the merchandise store. Everything is reasonably priced, and I will absolutely do my best.
Can I ask you guys just one quick question, and then just give me guys your favorite long shot, but. What surprises you more on Sunday afternoon in the green jacket ceremony? Finau or Cam Young slipping on the green jacket?
Cam Young.
That surprises you more than Finau?
Yeah, it would surprise
me. That's my biggest question. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So is Cam Young's first win going to be the fucking Masters?
Orville Moody did it in 1969.
Yeah, I don't think Cam Young's around the green game is good enough right now to win a Masters.
Okay.
Yeah. But everything else looks great about him. I love his length. I love his long iron play. I love how he's hitting the ball. But yeah, around the green, especially if the weather the first like couple days or so, I just think I don't know if
I bet Young 2-1 top 20.
I like that.
That's
so
fun.
Capper, do you prefer like more to win the Masters? I have one more spot on my outright card.
Yeah.
I love those guys statistically, and I know both of them. It's like I don't think they can win, but there's so many times where it's like I love them statistically. I don't think they can win, and then they fucking do it. Like that happens to me all the time. I've had a lot of success with the outrights that it just like what makes the most sense. It happens. So. Finau for you too?
Finau all day. Okay. Finau all day.
Yeah,
so that's a number that I was looking at too, because like he drifted a little bit, and the numbers don't drift on Hard Rock once again, because the Seminole Tribe are a bunch of criminals. And it was it's like it went to 45, and I was staring at that one.
Yeah, I think the driver change with Finau is a game changer.
I agree with you
think that's
wholeheartedly.
Huge. It's
he's
just
also he's also
like,
been. Sorry, go ahead.
It's Kenny hit enough putts. I don't know if I still don't know if I trust the putter, just all that much. But I tee to green, I no longer have any concerns. I mean, his around the green stuff lately has been unreal. The long iron player has been absolutely awesome with him.
I can't
now the driver's fixed.
Steve's like, I'm delusionally interrupting Steve with blabber on my third podcast of the day after walking 80,000 steps, and he's still too.
Oh, let me ask you that. All right, so should I just I have Jordan golf shoes? Should I just bring those? Is that going to be better to walk around in than my regular fucking sneakers?
Yeah,
because they look like sneakers.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah, I don't the walk it's tough, but there's also a lot of breaks. You're not just so then who's your guys' favorite long shot?
I mean, I honestly don't think anybody long is going to win, but I guess Patty Reed.
Okay.
70, 80-1. Looked okay in Miami. He's Patrick Reed, and he was yucking it up with Gary Woodland on the fucking on the range today. I saw that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, Gary and Patrick get along now. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only guy Sam Burns has dipped to 75-1, and last year he was T6 heading into the weekend.
And then what happened? He's Sam Burns on Sunday.
I know. I mean, I think about ceiling performances.
Yeah,
and Sam
gained
Burns
7 or 8 strokes putting.
Yeah. Right, because I like a guy like Siwoo Kim. I like his statistical profile, but I don't think he has the ceiling to actually win Augusta. I'm looking at Sam Burns at near the same number as Harmon and Jason Day and Henley, and I think Burns just has massive upside. He's just a fucking idiot sometimes, on the golf course. So, but I would say probably that's that would be my pick for long shot, because I just think he has the upside to do it.
Yeah. I watched a couple holes of this all Australian group today. It was Min Woo, Adam Scott, Cameron Smith, and Jason Day. It was a pretty sporty pairing. I walked away pretty. I can't do a Cam Smith thing. That guy just has my number. But he's also he's so bad on live. He's off the team.
He made it to a playoff, and he lost me money making it.
On a golf course, Taylor
6,700 yards.
Yeah, with a bunch of wedges. That was Taylor Major round. We talked about that.
Jesus,
yeah. But Adam Scott looked pretty sporty out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
When was the last golf tournament Adam Scott won? 5 years ago?
Riviera or something. And Minwoo Lee hits the ball a mile.
He does. He's not hitting. He's not playing. Min
will at least be fun. Betting on Adam Scott is never fun because he misses bunnies. He looks like an asshole. And when was the last time he won? Seriously, 5 years ago?
Riviera, maybe?
Adam Scott?
Yeah.
Yes, Riviera.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Very long.
All right, Andy, let's get you out of here. You got a lot of writing to do. Why don't you give us a couple plugs? Tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. As always, this was a blast. I can't wait to see you guys on Thursday. Hopefully we get to watch some golf, but I can't say I'm incredibly optimistic. Yes. But yeah, ADP Lax Sports has got it's my Twitter. It's got everything, Inside Golf Podcast, all major platforms. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, Capper, you got anything else?
No, that's it. We'll put out our official CADs tonight or tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow, waiting on the weather. I have access to first round leaders, 5, 10s, and 20s. So I'll throw some of those loser bets out there because that'll be fun. And yeah, other than that, me and Steve will be in Augusta starting on Thursday. I'm sure we'll do some live spots after and give some any edges we think and things like that. But other than that, be jealous. We'll be in Augusta later.